Alright. Let's get the show back on the road. Though, a quick update. Due to IRL issues, these streams are going to be in much smaller parts. But that might just stretch things out far enough for DawnTrail. I don't know. Still need a release date. Still don't have one. I'm not sure if my throat's gonna be well enough to do voices. Might just read things out. I mean, I'm gonna try.
Come to see how we're getting on?
But this is voice, so I don't have to deal with that.
We've made good progress since we took back Ala Mhigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address.
Money.
Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you.
Arenvald. What's
Now,
up?
don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me?
Sure. Like I said, I'm probably going to keep these streams to a much smaller segment instead of the usual full part.
I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure?
So I'm going to probably shrink this down to about 3 hours, maybe 4 or 5. Just to, like, get a good zone point.
After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not? After routing the Imperials and liberating Ala Mhigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Twist my arm, why don't ya? You know, it feels good. It feels good to be back. His throat still hurts a bit, but I can talk better now. Right then, let's go and find Master Levia. Actually, leave that to me. Want you fresh for our little adventure? Wait for us by the 8th, right? We'll be along shortly. See you there. I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful in planning the alliance, because those I'm gonna have to do during the day, and I mean way early in the day. I get people scrunched up together. I'm getting to the point where I can't do it with just a couple people anymore. Greetings, Naren. It would seem we are to accompany Arenvald on some manner of escapade. Have any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Ala Mhigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat the throne. And a uniquely brutal despot, by all accounts. That he was. The King of Ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Ralga's Reach being burned to the ground. Sorry, just putting out a couple more messages. In the latter years of his rules, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown. So he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. I wonder, because we know he went nutso. It was like going after everyone who would take his throne. You don't think that might have been because of the Ascians, do you? That he noticed them, and that they were probably trying to do something with Ala Mhigo to start a calamity. Oh, just some discord or some such. Both of the poor sods he put to death became property of the king. It said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you might unearth this hidden bounty. You assume correctly. And I would be incorrect in assuming that this legend is widely known. Others must surely have gone in search for your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course, we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Ala Mhigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Gold lost drained quickly as they had come. The legend of the Mad King's Trove simply remained that, a legend. Oh, I'm gonna re in the chat too. Re. Sorry. What was I? But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine the three of us delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart racing. I've learned to box. News of Doma and Ala Mhigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion. The Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arenvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere. So we'll probably need to ask around. Would there be any other way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied Archivist and request access to records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncover the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to be recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as the palace servant and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have liked at least 20 at a time, you will be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Even they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arenvald, pray try your luck at the fringes and the peaks, while Near makes for the Ala Mhigo and Doma. There I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. So you about it, eh? Can we get afterwards and cover Ala's gate? There you are. The palace? No, not me, lad. Surely you've heard the stories of the Mad King. He's to hold public executions upon the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice to say, I stayed far away from the palace as possible. But you hear old maid's stories, do you? Aye, well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see his royal majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he ordered, and after a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started sending assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was off to work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. I served at the pleasure of King Theodoric and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear the blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which of course we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If you're hell's bent on finding what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arenvald. He was the king's head scribe. Oh, a scrib, huh? Yes, I'm an old. What do you want of me? Tell me about the Mad King. You have me dread of some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet if Ala Mhigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I should tell you what I remember. Taking notice Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days the king's fervid mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were fortunate enough to witness. Her Majesty ordered that the court's thaumaturge release a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. Those of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, and mayhap it is the kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Interesting. That's well here. Why don't we share what we learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures, and found precisely none. It is just as possible, I suppose, that the corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find that rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. What have you dared? What investigation? They were fruitful. Turned into monsters? What could he mean by darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Ala Mhigo who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison. He said that not but cursed abominations. Hero archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. The described fellow been spinning him a yarn, do you think? You believe him, Niran? Well, I mean, you heard about a subterranean prison. I heard about a subterranean prison. Alphino and the Garleans haven't heard about that, but that's because no one's gonna fucking talk to the Garleans. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale. I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Not be hasty. Unknown's anecdote may have well told us what the trove is hidden. But ere I share my theory, there's a matter I would clarify. Arenvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive of this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? With all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. Just you know what I mean when I say my Ala Mhigo mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that the spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, the kind you see in pure blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage, and took up a knife. Wall paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out in the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Ala Mhigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and the road led me to the company of the Scions. I'll tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With the Orderic's gold, I could spare my countrymen the same shame of living like that. Thank you, Arenvald, and I apologize. It would have been pleasant to recall, but the best to clear our intentions. Well, Niran, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arenvald's noble cause and claim the thrill adventure as your own reward? Sure, why not? The people need it. I forgot to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's Trove, if you don't mind to hear. Actually, mayhap, it would be better if we first adjourn to a more suitable location. In the case the rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let's reconvene on the southern edge of Loxeld. I might save doing the Final Fantasy streams. I can split them into 2 parts, which would be fantastic. For the weekends. I wanted to stream yesterday, but I was just not feeling it, and to me it was too late to do it around 9 p.m. But I might just save them for the weekend. Save my Deciduous streams, which will be streaming on YouTube instead. Maybe. I'll figure out a day for the Deciduous streams. The Fortnite streams, I might put those on Fridays. Forgive me, it was not my intention to draw proceedings. I simply wish to have the lock in sight while I explain things. Prior to the great flood of the 6th Calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines. And this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the 5th Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, and have been all but destroyed by war. Yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Seld. So I believe that the darkness beneath the palace, mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe, was not a reference to a prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise the Mad King's unfortunate kingsmen were cast down there simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And we know the cult Thaumaturge was involved. We can safely assume that any entrance into the city would have magically been concealed. To explain how a legion of Imperials and the gods know how many Ala Mhigans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they do not. Near, would you be so kind as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arenvald and I will seek a social portal within the palace. Geronimo! Well, well. This looks interesting. Discover a passage that appears to lead under the palace foundations. Press on and find out where it goes. Come across a one-stone door, subtly temptingly ajar, where you found an entrance to the subterranean ruins. Nearing its alpha now, we have searched for the prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation portal concealed by enchantments. The markings indicated leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? Blah 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 blah. You believe it leads to the ruins? Then I dare say we will be able to meet within. Go on, head through the door. Oh, by the way, I took liberty of calling on a friend for help. I guarantee she's both dependable and discreet. See you soon. Hint, hint on why you can go in there with duty support. Speaking of which, but what if I'm a tank? Oh, Arenvald starts dealing DPS. But what if I was a healer? What if how poor Alpha no? He turns into a DPS. Oh, almost forgot. It's been so long. You know what? Yeah, I'll do it with the NPCs. I usually steamroll through it unsynced, but the drowned city of Scala. Yeah, I remember before that they would make this a race. Who would get to the treasure first, you or Arenvald and almost said Estinian Alpino. Let me give myself a little bit of food buff.
Away with you!
Almost forgot that they talk. Good to see you found the way in too, Niran. Right then, let's go and get our treasure. Yeah, these guys gonna pop.
Release.
Up to some spearfishing, you Molda. Always.
Try this! Now!
Come on, Arenvald, this shouldn't be too much trouble for you.
Release! Away with you!
Yeah, part of me is starting to wish I went this unsynced. You can't really wall to wall with the bots. Is that some kind of horse? It's a kelpie. I've heard legends of it. Ah, well, we're gonna kill it.
Away with you! Leave it to me!
Oh, hydro poor. Ah.
Leave it to me!
Uh-oh. I'm drenched from head to toe. No more than you expect from an adventure, eh? I dare say this was a place of worship. I have a feeling it's crawling with worshippers. Alright, Alpha, now let's see how your heals do. Alright, Arenvald, show 'em what you're made of.
For Arbor and Ollie.
Aww. His old crew.
Away with you.
Frank, do you have to get the zoomies now? Apparently so. I thought that was a line attack. Delivers to all enemies in a straight line before you with potency of 525% less for the remaining enemies. Yeah. Do. It's good to be streaming again, even if it is for a shorter time frame. White Will God at the door. Does that mean we've already reached the treasure?
Away with you.
Bring back Kaiten! I forgot I still have it on my hotbar. What is it? Do I have any milk? Damn it. Supposedly if you drink milk, the boss changes on the inside and there's a fat cat instead. I think it increases if you're also a Makote. That's the treasure, then consider me disappointed. Fortunately for you, it's another guardian. Be on your guard. Or maybe I'll get lucky and it'll turn into a cat anyway. It is the fat cat! I saw it. I saw the fat cat. Ow. Show me the fat cat. Show me the fat cat. There he is. Oh, it's going back to the true boss. And now there's the fat cat. Oh, Spriggy. What's Spriggity do? What in the seven hells? Ye gods, what magic is this? Ugh, not again, a truly vexing spell. Oh, the mini ones have little fat cats in them too.
Away with you!
Troublesome piece of clay. His magic were not to be underestimated. Prison cells. Looks of the Mad King's reign. Look out, no, it's a ghost.
Down with you!
I have my pride.
That was a person. Seven hells. So the doctor rumors of this place were true. Oh, do we not turn into ghosty goose and float across? We just walk across now?
Now! Now!
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, you can even see that they have a status. Transfiguration, corporeal forms altered. And then they die. Been like that for half a century. Aw, boo! They took away you turn into a chubby little ghost dude and float across. Ding, 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 ding. I want to have Fat Cat in it too. Seems that fellow won't let us have the treasure without a fight. Wouldn't be much of an adventure if it didn't end on a climax, eh? Look at all this loot.
Leave it to me!
I have my pride.
Uh-oh. Ow. I looked away to look at my chat. Defeated and edited. Yay. Oh, I don't have this. New song. Oh, it's gone stronger, hasn't he? Piles upon piles of treasure. I could scarcely imagine how... Ugh. Oh, guys, come on. Can't all talk at once. Which there is. The thing that once used to be a man. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark here and say that's our mad king. With hair like that.
Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our... fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
I would have tried to do our fair share, but if you ended up bearing the bulk of the burden as usual, you led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Aye, without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling about in the dark. Glad I called on you. I must say, I'm still reeling beside that mountain of riches. Alpha, no, you're rich. What? Like how you reeled the sight of a floating spectre, you mean? I should have seen the look on your own face, Alpha, no. I must be dwell on such momentary lapses. Found the Mad King's trove, and that's all that matters. Aha, you're afraid of ghosts. All just exciting, must tell the people the good news, and I think Lee should be the first. Second in, she is bound to be delighted. If I'm no longer needed, then I shall take my leave. Of course, don't let us keep you. Thanks again, and say hello to Vamar for me. Now then, there's a meeting of representatives across Ala Mhigo, so at least sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? Oh, you two look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? Glad you asked, Lise, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. We basically found the Mad King's trove. We're rich. You're joking. The Mad King's trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have near enough in the party. Good if I find you should rely on really go to them. So what to do with it all? Well, it goes towards alleviating the suffering of Ala Mhigo's poor. Gods, that's as much as you say. Arenvald did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it on our own. I've taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, You should be able to follow the route where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for and that it goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there's one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sex skill won't solve everything, but I couldn't really tell you what to do with it instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths, tell me what's happened. Mom's gathered outside headquarters. They started making demands. You'd best come and see yourself.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on?
Someone let slip about Fedorla.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Butcher the... Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock! We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Ala Mhigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Ala Mhigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Ala Mhigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Ala Mhigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
Alright, so when's the execution?
I know you're right, I do, but I can't.
I think, Strap-on. Listening to the anger, I could feel myself being swept away. Tis a difficult time to stem. 'Twas the same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory. Now the war is over, and the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, it's not just here. We report some mobs swarming all over. And targeting folk known to have cooperated with Garleans. Starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even sought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It's grim. To build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. Maybe the time isn't right. Maybe the people just aren't ready. This doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives exactly? Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. Wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we planned a summit of sorts. We invited the Anata and the Kirkin to participate. The leader stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. Rana Fedor's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt proceedings. Let's execute her and be done with it. She asked herself to be put to death. Long ago, I explained why we wouldn't do that. Sending it to the gallows might satisfy the people now, but what would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated? Everyone who didn't resist? And there'd be no one left. We'd be no better than Theodoric and Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fedora? And we caught a glimpse of her past. Moment of it anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, unforgivable things, but in some ways, she's the victim of circumstance in which she was born. That's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk with her too. I'll return to my duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Fedora her powers. Be fairly warned, friends, she will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does. The commander's permission to enter then.
So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Now, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fedora. I see you for what you are.
Baby Fadola.
Come along, Fadola. We mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right. Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Ala Mhigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please! You have to do something! My husband and daughter are in danger!
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of Arn.
We're citizens! We have rights!
Ah!
Father, I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive.
Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fadola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honoring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
Tragic. Blech. What I miss.
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes. Wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they?
Kinda.
Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
Oh no, my outfit. Its sequence broke.
You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why?
For those I have lost, for those I can yet save.
Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fadola something to think about at least. I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Niren, but the visions only come to me every now and then. The way Fadola kept wincing though, I get the feeling she's been having them almost all the time. It's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between the one born with the echo and the one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring the research facility ever since liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alduin's over there overseeing the investigation. Let's go pay him a visit, shall we? Yes, General Alden decide. Will you be joining him? Of course. Well, at least they cleaned up all the bodies. Do. Where is it? There it is. I gotta scoot up a bit. A little bit more. Alright, resonate me. What news? You spoke with Fadola, I take it? Yes, and as expected, she didn't say very much. It wasn't a total waste of time. Arenvald noticed something odd about her. I think she might be having visions almost constantly. It's not how the echo normally works. Have you guys found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? Unar pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the science expert assistance if you have time to lend a hand. The device in which Cryo was held seems to be even more ominous now than its purpose. The surrounding pods are marked as supply subject, while this one bears the label master subject. You're a lady. Do you have a tattoo on your face? Yeah, Alex received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I'm recording everything here. Just did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupants, save that one right there. Unlike others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. For what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Oh yeah, she's got a little face tattoo. Yeah, you don't see that often on NPCs. Idle conversation prohibited. Eating and drinking prohibited. The policy corporation's facility regulations. Nothing of interest. Oh, there are all the bodies. So many bodies. Each one of them a victim of these experiments. Few shows any signs of external injury. From what they must have been able to determine, they perished from forcible ether extraction. That's a miserable way to die. Ugh. A little less of science, so any light you could shed on the facility's operations would be much appreciated. Niren, shall we start with you? So they sucked the ether out of everyone except for one, which is the one the Cryo was in. Also, eating and drinking is prohibited. Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kyle and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entails infusing a single candidate with ease assessment from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kyle, the patterns of her etheric activity were provided to model upon which will artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kryle's echo. If we so, which will explain our prisoner's present state, Kryle possessed an art to hear the whispers of the soul. It seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fodola. Soldiers who guard Fodola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at her door day and night. She can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past. But you don't just see the past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Isaiah was completely transformed by a simple glimpse of Hraesvelga's past. Fodola was given forced to experience the agony. Those lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. Explains her request to be executed. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. The poor messing matters to consider. As a result of the experiments have been relayed back to Garlean, they will be not to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. Must be ready. We must learn all we can of these godforsaken procedures. Fodola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're convinced the others to follow you, you believe that you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but it's not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Raban. You're more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Alduin is a veteran in countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his expertise. I But I also know that I couldn't convince that mob to give up and go home. Makes me realize how much we rely on his authority. How much we still have yet to learn. Whatever he'll do what he'll do when everything here is settled. It's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? This is a quandary but countless refugees now face to continue the life they have built in Ul'dah or start again in the land of their birth. Nirin, a moment. Huh? Pippin. I nearly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana, depending on the nature of a consultation, might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd like to know about those up and know, but not everyone's comfortable in interrogating royalty such as you. Take no notice of him, Nirin. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasure to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arenvald? At your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own tasks. Organize a squad to head down to the ruins, and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send down all my regards, Nirin. And ours too, if you please. Shall see you on your return. Alright, to Uda. Oh my god. I completely forgot. Yesterday was Saturday. Oh my god. I completely forgot yesterday was Saturday. Or Sunday, Saturday, no, it's Sunday. Oh, please tell me it's still valid. Please tell me it's still valid. Please tell me it's still valid. Oh, nice. But also, 6803. Okay, can it just be that, you know, you have one number that matches in the corresponding spot, like the 6? Why does it have to start at the back with the 3? Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. One day I'll get it right. 9835. Lower zone to face you in the tournament. Since that day, I've spent every moment to practice your arts trying to attain perfection skill with the blade. You mean you're here for the ounces of Sultana? Please proceed forward. That might be a paladin thing.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy.
You know,
liberation of Ala
liberating.
Mhigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Ala Mhigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Ala Mhigo, and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Raubahn chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Ala Mhigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure? Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
That's out of the quicksand. Don't you remember Lilirel, the merchant's daughter? This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Sean would accompany me, but for this particular outing, I need an advisor, not a minder. Oh, Sprout? So I request your company over the course of many adventures. We have people of all walks of life in every corner of Eos, and we will see what the experience. Now let us be on our way to Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Xbox Sprout? No, PlayStation Sprout. Xbox Sprout? Nope, PC Sprout. Look upon this procession of tattered tents, this refugee camp in squalor, the mercy of the elements, and Thanalan's predators both. City walls offer mighty safety, but the streets overflow with the people as it is. And unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Uldar. 20 years have passed since the fall of Ala Mhigo, and 5 since the calamity. Yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, now less. The Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Done your best, your grace. Now my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? We would follow the road to the unholy air. Oh, stupid mountaintops. So here in this unholy, remarkable place that my mother and father met at doom. Oh. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interest in eastern Thailand when an untimely rock slide crushed the carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was a simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Robin once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth. He assumed I was surely craved, but I refused. Even my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the monitors. We could have only brought their hirelings to justice. True villains, the ones who plotted to me the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizen. Right unaware the consequences of my actions would have for you and yours, affect the think how many goodly souls paid the price for my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn for the monitor's damnable games. Forgive me for my office to one of the few people who I can speak my mind. Come, let's return to Uldan and visit the Colosseum. Let's see. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. Yes, I simply signed what I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. One good thing comes from an ignominious chapter in my life. It was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I met Rabban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all I expected it. They pitted the bull Ala Mhigo against several dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I could not stand for such an obvious injustice. I had to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was until later that I learned that Garlean arranged for Arenvald to die in the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Arenvald had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. Then he knelt to me to receive the winner's purse. He swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. As you know, Arenvald is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the bloodsands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the syndicate. and then I had my blade.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
Look at her go!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Grab on!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah. And so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
Words cannot well express what that man means to me. Those who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is as a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maid servants for counsel. Rather, with his authority of the syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. It was the only edge I could cut strings that bound me. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan's sword for long. The places I would visit to the Arzeneth ossuary. Thaumaturges. When the calamity threatened, Arenvald led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cottonelle, and I remained here. Pray with all my heart that Archon Louis would have the power to rouse the 12. Since the day I made a custom of visiting the shrine during each of my little excursions, here I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as a Sultana. Yeah, you are rightly... man, where's my water? My throat's getting dry. Ow. You are rightly celebrated as champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe a measure of a monarch lies with how she leads her people through times of adversity. Having to be Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path near it, and with Ala Mhigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. As you well know, our artisan school shall be waiting to accept any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive. This time the Ul'dah treasury shall provide. Especially where and how to allocate the necessary funds is of course another question. Might you ask a member of the Syndicate for advice? A wise suggestion. We have a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate. He's one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. Wonder, are you acquainted with Godwet Mandeville? Yes. Then he not explain his eccentric nature. Let's make way to the landing and shall see the word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godwet should be too glad to receive us. Do I have to go to the airship landing? Can't I just teleport to the Gold Saucer? Where is it? There it is. I haven't aboard such a public airship before, but this is my first time to visit the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. Do 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 do. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 7, 5. Well, that's 1800. It's not too bad. I say 1800. It's 1080. Okay. 6. 1, 2. A. There's a 2 there. Dang. I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet never dreamed to be so bright and inviting. Yeah, that's the Gold Saucer for you. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Goblin will be expecting us. Come, let's head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. If you say so, my lady. Alley-oop. I believe this is where we meet Lord Mandeville. Shall we sit while the way is coming? Oh man. I don't think I have the throat strength to do Godbert. Whatever. My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies unnecessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the intrepid Niran the Sepharis and the Sultana herself come calling, there is no more important engagement. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Ul'Dan. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Ala Mhigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to the newly liberated homeland. You are also aware how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. We use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you on me on the matter? How might this be best distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting and Your Grace's choice of companion would suggest me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice is to you, stop. Taxing Ul'Dan's wealth to save Ala Mhigo refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition. Most emphatically, I agree with Your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. What profit is there in Ul'Dan in this arrangement? Profit? After all you've done for Giribani is displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from this misfortune. Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. Then we must consider Ul'Dan's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Ala Mhigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not Your Grace's intention to foster new resentment, but to spread goodwill. Indeed, then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ul'Dan. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Ala Mhigans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of their subjects. You have been much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. Thank you for your candor. Uh-oh. I'm lagging. Oh, there we go. There's too many people in the gold saucer. Oh, that's why. I can't. There we go. People are doing a gate. Prophet. The thought never crossed my mind. Studying about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Aaron, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? The intent of philanthropy is obliged to be profit. It would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Well, I mean... Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Aldenau Trading Company. But if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Garlean and speaking with him on my behalf. Even though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure of likely sea boys. Now, assuming you will travel as adventures I want to do, I shall wait to report by the 8th right in Ul'Dan. Fair journey to you, Niran. A swift one, if you please. Naren, to what do I owe the pleasure? Or are you here on business? Business, actually. Beg your pardon, Her Grace Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah. My dear Naren, I have to thank you for this recognition, I'm sure. I'm flattered that you came to me. Truly flattered. Why settle for a lowly apprentice when you can have the master? Upon master profits, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, and whose morning exertions are said to fill his garderobe with gold. If I have to arrange a meeting for you, say, the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan, making sense would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? There you are, Naren, may your dealings prove fruitful. And back to Ul'dah. Oh, there she is. Welcome back, Naren. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? Yeah, he said to talk to Lord Lolorito. And Lolorito, and you agreed to this? And while the way is standing in the field of business, I have to keep the monitors at arm's length, and him in particular. I cannot live in fear of the man. I learned how to treat with him if I am to rule Daw effectively. Very well, I'll meet with Lolorito. Let's go ahead to the Waking Sands to prepare for his coming. Oh, thank God, it just teleports me here. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I've read many tales, but never had the occasion to visit. To work then, the hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Have a seat.
You have made your point. It is indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira? Hmm?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I'm glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say, I'm most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Ala Mhigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor. together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Ala Mhigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Ala Mhigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Ha! I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Saltery.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ounce of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Ala Mhigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders. Just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
Few of many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations, but I shall not complain. You piqued little Rachel's interest and secured valuable expertise. Thank you, Niran. Could not have done it without you. All costs decided, I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. I could prevail upon you one more time, Niran, and ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hex, You'll return to Ala Mhigo. Sure thing. Thanks again. Together we've laid the groundwork for the endeavor which promises to benefit the people of Ala Mhigo and will help both. Liren, you're back. What did Nanimo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So Arenvald says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure he wants to. That's something we don't know. I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. As plan to revitalize the Salter does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorita's help is another question. After all that's happened, he's the very last person I expect her to turn to for advice. On a more practical note, at least assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Ala Mhigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. The portion of our disposal at their own, allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorita too much control. Honestly, I feel it's like recounting never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss the proposal with the Sultan's residents. Scar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultan's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. You mind coming along, Liren? I need your help to fill in the details. I shall come as well. Should one wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. It shouldn't be too far away. What manner of mischief brings the younglings to what this time, eh? I want to rebuild the Sultan, Granddad. Liren, tell him about the deal. Oh, bugger me, we never had the coin on hand to put the place back to how it was. Sounds like that's about to change. It's one wrinkle in your plan. Look how full and nasty is queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. You used to send soldiers to kill the buggers. The Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Alright, Granddad, we'll take care of that. Commander Hex has been talking about setting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd sign me to the luck if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Wisco, my lad. I truly would. Doesn't mean you've gone better with the Blade Eagles. I'm a training eye, but mostly kill Imperials. Well, you've got some experience on the one stone engineering. You can cast your eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them. So, if there's any time then, see you by the lock. As you're busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Ward explain to me exactly what is required to restore the statue to its former glory. Good hunting! Right in there, that's why I got here. You can take a closer look at the past. Once you get the base, you can tell me what to do. We'll see how we get on. Job for job, because of our hardcore hairs for the other side. The head looks soft and vulnerable. So you found yourself a yabby, and they say you're hitting the shells like smashing a rock. Any suggestions? Aim for that ooey gooey center underneath the head. Vulnerable on the head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. Let's see. Another half hour before I wrap this up. Thanks, nerd. Did just as you told, and the wave king went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. Yeah, handling up is now, but we should try something different. What else is out there? The Phobad's hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate, since power pulsating from behind its brow. Ugh, a Phobad. How do I defeat one of those? Just hit it really, really hard as you can. Destroy the core within its brow. So its head, is it? I'll try to stab right between its eyes then. Just hit it really, really hard. Do big numbers, do big damage. That's not even fighting with the liberator of Ala Mhigo watching every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, nerd. I'm a lot better prepared for my patrol now. Anyway, we should head back to the Salt before Granddad starts to worry. I haven't snipped into pieces and fed to the obvious hatchlings. So you've returned in one piece? Oh, right, old man. Dealt with the beasties, have you? Oh, I fought them myself. Took a bit of instruction from there and here, like. Once I've shared what I learned with the others, you should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man, you become Waskar. Fine young man indeed. 12 times later, I hear folk over the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge. It's firmly stuck in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future. And this village will improve our lot. Looks like getting the Saltery ready to welcome the long-lost countrymen. Since Bliska has the Saltery scrutiny well in hand, I meanwhile discuss the next step with Master Ward and completing my inspection of the site. A little work, the vacant buildings here can be made into presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, sir, but the General would like to speak to you at the earliest convenience. Do not feel obligated to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Ward and act as intermediary with our business partners in Odar. You should go. General Alduin asks that you wait for him by the main gate of the Ala Mhigo quarter. My apologies again, sir. Fare you well. I'd probably soon just teleport in, but nah, too late. No, blue frog.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal.
Oh, those two.
Well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the Resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
execution's not the answer, as much as they deserve it.
You would spare these animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilbert's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Ala Mhigan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Ala Mhigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Ul'dah and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
Whew. It took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled. Arenvald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Anana have arrived at the main gate. I don't mean Devira. These are Kaliana, the ones that summoned the Primal. They're insisting they be allowed to attend the council. Lisa is trying to reason with them, but she may need help. The invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes. Assuming Kaliana will refuse it out of hand. We best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of all forces and be ready for battle. There, you've dealt with Garlean before, and I'll be at my side. There, Ralbon's God, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. You have forgotten how you sinned against Lady of Bliss. But we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all those called Giovanni a home. Is it truly your wish? You are welcome as the envoys of the Anata. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. Not to enter the palace, you must first surrender any crystal jewelry. Or that will be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to the compromise. We will have people standing guard. Let them keep their swords. Then we have an arrangement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. I don't have the feeling we'd welcome a viper into our midst. Probably because you have. Garlean and Zelda's intentions seem at odds with what we know of a tribe. What do you think Aaron? The enthralled cannot be trusted. So that once a creature has fallen in the sway of primal, there is no salvation. And I strongly doubt the Kalyana have suddenly broken free of Lakshmi's will. Whether the truth, I would take no chances. The god must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the silence? I'll round up our comrades and send them to the Ala Mhigo quarter. Go ahead if you like, Niran. Thanks. See you in the palace. I mean, inviting tempered beastmen into the heart of the city with all the leaders gathered in one location, what could go wrong? Yeah, about reinforcements. Arenvald told me of the arrival of unexpected guests, and I agree that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I'm not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alistair's reports suggest that they shunned contact with other races. The spies did, in fact, even compared to other Anata. Indeed, this apparent reversal of attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy. Argent Lys was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? The meeting is to be held in the throne room. It should seem wise to have both eyes inside and outside the palace. Thone and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over the proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Aaron, do you know the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city at the top of the stairs. Gotcha, they should be instructed to let us pass. I can foresee this not turning bad in any way, shape, or form. You'll be escorted inside if you follow me. Yes, sir.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lys Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Ala Mhigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
You jinxed it, Alpha, now.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenfrid. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kaliana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Girabania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of Bliss, Grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Oh no, who saw this coming? The enthralled...
No crystals were allowed through the door!
The enthralled beastmen summoned their primal.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Echo barrier activate.
Gods damn it! The guards were already turned!
Yeah, how?
Fools!
No, you don't!
The Garlean would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvald to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
Alright, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, she'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
I have a whole rant saved for this moment. But I'm still recovering from being sick, so... You know what? No. Okay, one, yeah, it was clever of them to sneak crystals in through the water. Thus, they would have what they need in order to summon Lakshmi. To try and temper everybody. Rant number one. How did these guys get, tempered? And at what point? She was only really summoned once and then we immediately dealt with her. I mean, unless you count the extreme fight, but then... maybe? Rant number two is Lise being a complete dumb fuck for this moment. She's worked with the Scions, actually as a Circle of Knowing, then as the Scions, for years. She knows how to deal with the primals. If you're tempered, there is no undoing it. People will try and continue to summon their primal or get people to be tempered by their primal. Your first note that something was wrong is when the ever-reclusive Kalyana, who have been tempered, were like, yeah, we'll come to this meeting. That should signal something was up. But Lise should have said no. I understand she took precautions. It was like, you can't have your jewelry because your jewelry has crystals. You can use that to summon the primal. But like, No, Lise. No. Like, you should know better. Should have told him no right from the get-go.
Why, I offer you peace and serenity.
I should really be focusing the primal. Oh shit. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 don't you run closer to it. God damn it. Put me back in, coach. It's not my fault fucking Berthurla was stupid enough to run into it. Alright, no more haha goofing around killing the ads.
Why, I offer you peace and serenity.
Ow. No, 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 no. Look at that. They're just moving forward. They're moving towards it. They want to get tempered.
I shall free you from your hate.
I wonder if one of them just targets Raubon. If I can just let that happen, just let him get tempered. Wait for them to get clustered.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Frondola, what the fuck? Guys, come on. Oh, Ravon's doing a little break. Oh shit. Let me target her. I can handle the primal. We need more than 3 to handle the primal. We Arenvald got this. Ow. Oh no, you don't. No, you don't.
Do not your souls weigh heavy?
What's that? Touch of death. Organs are failing, causing damage over time. Oh, Arenvald, why did you eat that attack? You're not a paladin, you're a gladiator. Ralvon's more of a tank than you. Lakshmi's divine nature facilitates unsteadily.
Here it comes!
Oh, thank you, Lee. It's about time. Poof goes the snake lady.
We did it!
Oops.
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Ala Mhigo. Your choice.
Thanks, I guess.
Seven hells. It's her. The Butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Well, at least, how do you feel knowing you nearly fucked everything up? Oh, fought near Arenvald. That was a near thing. Aye. Standing against Garlean would have been brief indeed if not volunteered for guard duty. We were enthralled surely as the centuries were. Was to plan this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... It's my fault. My stupid mistake. Yeah, clearly. Hey, lass, we were all caught unaware. Take this as a lesson to watch our own more carefully in the future. We showed that the luggage was one of the crystals in the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. Soldiers who first spoke up in favor of Garlean, keeping their weapons springs to mind. Primal 7 is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Loxley's influence. Thanks, Stoller. We appreciate it. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fadola turned up. What's she even doing there? I asked her to come. Oh, explains it then. It's sad, but Rang and Fred was right. Victims will never forgive her for what she's done. Rang and Fred, not Frad. But I don't think Fadola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. See that in the world in which Fadola grew up was partly to blame for what she became, then Ala Mhigo might be responsible for improving that world. Can't ignore what's happening right now, to show the people a better way than vengeance. Or you risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. It is a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured, I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. Determined to finish what we started. See that you're not interrupted. Nero and you and the Sun stand down. Get some rest, you've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars, one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabun Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
Gasp.
But, Your Grace...
Rabun, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Ala Mhigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Ul'dah? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Smile for me, Raubarn. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Ala Mhigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Alrighty. Gonna wrap up this quest and then wrap up the stream.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest. But I must yield the floor to Raubarn. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
You may be getting on in years, Father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the bull of Ala Mhigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised.
Oh, me?
Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Ala Mhigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
It's about time I headed back to Rogger's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alistair will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you if you've no objections. Welcome to the company. Naren, why don't you come along to the Reach as well once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? The police question with access to house for some kind of speaking with the Royal Menagerie attendant. Yay. Don't hands. Jesus. My hands broke for a sec. Well, here we are again. Half an hour gave me with a tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. Seems I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Anchor Stoa when I heard the reports of the Primal Throne. I sit down to my own ears. As others have said, we are lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we need to keep a closer eye on Kaliana. Say that again. This whole episode is reminding just how far all our kinds are. It's like centuries of fear and mistrust can't really be washed away in a day. But someone has to make an effort at reconciliation. These conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the Brood Mother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. Just have to watch and wait. Which is to say we won't be putting ourselves and our allies in the Vira and the M tribes first. and that Resistance scouts keep track of Garlean's movements at all times. Parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army out of interest? We prepared for the Imperial counterattacks. That would be a question for the Resistance newest recruit, military commander with far more experience than me. What? The Bull of Ala Mhigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups. When Conrad passed his command to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Raga's Reach. He just happened to happened to be serving as a Resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray. But that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Arenvald as overall commander of the forces. He's more experienced than the rest of us put together, and stand a lot to learn from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice, assuming he accepts the post. Ala Mhigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanomo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. Seeds we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. Attend to our promises and watch as Ala Mhigo blooms. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away... I do give thanks to the Kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there, their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in the city of rich merchants. Dango. These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweetbreads. I surrender my blade to secure what few coins we have. How? Oh, you're not gonna eat? I am. Ah, just like talking to a child. My fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive, and I must return to my master's side. Come, Suyu. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Look at her go! Meanwhile, thousands of miles away... Oh, dang, I didn't expect these guys to talk. Shiza. Hold on, I still got the cup near me. Come here.
Have you heard the reports? First Doma, then Ala Mhigo, and Lord Zenos put to the sword. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and he's already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head, regardless. Nay, Lord Zenos lives? Deplorable. And our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. Who would wage war with empty words? Let the produced viceroys remains in. We shall soon put the lie to the claims. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah.
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away. Oh. Alright, well that's gonna be it for the stream. For now. Maybe I'll stream later tonight. I don't know. Better go have a seat over here at the campfire. Let's sing our campfire song. Our CAMPFIRESONG song.